Today I have 3 vegan dump and go meals for your slow cooker. And the awesome thing about today's recipes is they require all varieties of times to cook them. So whether you want to put something in first thing in the morning and have dinner ready, or maybe even just after lunch, or just a couple hours before it's time to eat dinner, I've got you covered. Let's begin with our medium cook time and make some vegan taco soup. This recipe is perfect if you need to make something right after lunch and have it ready for dinner time. We'll add in 1 chopped onion, then 1 chopped yellow bell pepper. And then this is optional, but I had a yellow squash that I wanted to get rid of, and it's such a neutral vegetable that it adds more bulk to this soup. So you can add that as well. You can also add an orange bell pepper and chop that up, but I have some orange carrots that once they have all these white parts on it, my kids don't like to eat them. So I'm just gonna use orange carrots instead. All right, I'm using my chopper. You just have to be careful not to put too many carrots at a time. All right, and then we'll add these too. Then we'll add in 2 cans of diced tomatoes, the whole can with all the juices. Next is 3 cans of your favorite beans. So I'm gonna do 1 of each style of beans. So you can do pinto beans or any type of white bean, a black bean, and a kidney bean. And then I'm just gonna rinse and drain these real quick and add them in. Here is the black beans, the white beans, and the kidney beans. If you have a can of corn, you can add it in now, but I'm gonna use frozen corn, and I think frozen corn tastes better if you add it in at the end to kind of cool things down. So I'll save these for later, but optional, you can add them in now. Next, you'll add in 5 cups broth. Woo, it takes us all the way to the top. And then I need my broth paste. So 5 teaspoons, 1, 2, and 5. Kind of mix it around a little bit. And then the most important ingredient is the taco seasoning. So let me grab that too. If you had a taco seasoning packet, it would be about a taco seasoning packet or 2 tablespoons of a pre-made mix. 1 and 2. All right, let's cook this. Okay, we'll cook this on high for about 3 to 4 hours, just until those onions and veggies are cooked. Then when I wake up, I'll make the cashew cream, add it in to make it nice and creamy, and we'll serve. All right, I just woke up from a nap, so let's check on the soup. All right, this tastes great, tastes delicious. Now we just need to make some cream. So you have a couple options. You can use cashews for the cream or do what I'm about to show you. To make our cream, we're just gonna use silken tofu. So the nice thing is it's lower in fat than other cream options, higher in protein, and we're just gonna mix this up and use a little bit of plant milk just to help it get creamy, but you can try without it. So if you need some unsweetened plant milk to make it a little creamy, you can. I'm gonna try without it at first and then go from there. Perfect. My blender worked great. I did not need to add any more milk, and this is the perfect cream, and let's go ahead and add it to our soup. All right, so to finish it up, we're first just gonna add in our corn, about a can's worth of corn. This will cool it down, which is nice, so it'll be ready to eat. And then our cream. We'll just scoop it right in here, mix that in. Perfect, look at how good this looks. Oh my goodness. Now we need to taste it because sometimes when you add cream, it takes away some of the flavor. So we might need to add a little bit back in. Just for a little bit extra flavor, I'm gonna add some salt, some pepper. All this is to taste. And then if you want to, you can even sprinkle just a little bit more taco seasoning. If you feel like it needs it, just a sprinkle bit more, not a lot. And now it is ready to serve. You can serve this with bread. You can serve it with tortilla strips. There's so many options, or just as is. Now, one last thing, this is completely optional, but I do like to just fold in some spinach. I just chopped it off really small. You know, it's kind of like, why not? You don't really taste it. It just adds more nutrients. But if you do not like spinach in your soups, you can leave this step out. And then I actually took a little bit of the broth away just so it was a little bit more of a thicker soup, but you can keep it more soupy, or you can obviously...
Soupy mean?
What?
You really just say soupy.
What does soupy mean? Like more water. Soupy means more water. Like more like a soup versus like a casserole. And then make sure to garnish with cilantro. The next recipe is a white bean, spinach and tomato pasta. This one is perfect for those nights where you need to be able to just think a couple hours beforehand and then set it and forget it. You'll take your pasta, whatever type of pasta you have. I'm just gonna use this kind. And again, I'm using a higher protein just because I really like this brand and I think the pasta tastes awesome. So we'll add that in, super easy. Next, we'll add in a can of diced tomatoes with the juices. I'm just gonna go ahead and open up my can and dump that in there with all the juices. Next is a can of white beans. Any type of white beans work, whatever white beans you like. Rinse and drain them and add them in. And then we need 3.5 cups of veggie broth. So I just use water and that veggie paste. So that's 1, 2, 3.5. And then we'll do 1 teaspoon, 2, 3.5. Just kind of mix that in there. It's okay, we'll do some more mixing in a second. Then I'll add in 3 cloves of garlic. 1, 2, 3. And then 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. I'm just gonna eyeball this one. You can obviously add more or less to taste. Okay, that's like 2 teaspoons, but. And then 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika. This one I'm just gonna sprinkle in. We're gonna wait and add more salt and pepper afterwards just to taste. But let's mix that in, and then this is totally optional, but if you want to add a little bit more protein, so it's just a little bit more filling, plus the more nutrients that you can get. But honestly, I like to add in tofu because it looks like cheese. And so if I add it in, then it kind of looks like the typical dish where you have a little bit of crumbled cheese, like feta cheese, or what are the names of the other cheeses? I don't even remember anymore. I'm just gonna use 1/2 block of tofu, and then I'm just gonna crumble it up again, just so it kind of looks like I added, what is that cheese called that they use in lasagna? You know what I'm talking about. Ricotta, like a ricotta cheese. This is what the look we're going for. And then with that, I do want to add a little bit of salt to the cheese, the tofu, it's not cheese. And then we'll mix that in there as well. And this is it, super, super simple. This is the type of dish you want to make about an hour or 2 before dinner is actually ready. You just want to be able to throw something together super fast. I'm gonna add in a little bit more Italian seasoning just because I like it. I like it nice and flavorful. And I like the smell that it comes when you're cooking with Italian seasoning. Beautiful. All right, let's put this on high and we're just gonna cook it for 1 to 2 hours. That took me like 5 minutes to put together. I love how simple this recipe is. Hey, real quick, have you signed up for my free 1-week meal guide? If you haven't, it's full of vegan, whole food, plant-based recipes. It's delicious, has desserts and breakfast and everything that you will need. Plus, I even include a shopping list. It's free. All you need to do is click on the link below. All right, so we'll cook for, it says 3 to 4 hours, but I'm gonna check on it in about 30 minutes just to mix it up a little bit, and then we'll go from there. All right, the only downside of this crock-pot meal is it doesn't have a lot of veggies. So I'm going to also prep some veggies, just some asparagus to put in the oven at 400 degrees. And this is 2 bunches to feed my family. We all love asparagus, actually. Okay, the next step, I'm just gonna spread these out. And I've washed them off with water, and that's honestly enough to keep the spices and flavor sticking to them. And I just am super simple. All I use is garlic powder, onion powder, and salt. And then I just jiggle it around, woo, and I'll put this in the oven at 400 degrees when the dinner is closer to being ready. So I'm just gonna let these sit, marinate in the flavor for a little bit, and then I'll cook them when I'm almost done with dinner. And what I love is that if these are done first, I just kind of let them sit out on my counter and then my kids just start eating it. So they naturally will preload on veggies even before the dinner's done. This is the finished product. I forgot to actually stir it, so it got a little crunchy, but I think it's even better. It tastes delicious. And then you'll garnish with spinach or basil. And lastly, if you know you're going to be gone all day, but you have just 5 minutes to put together something really quick in your crock-pot before you leave, this is the recipe for you. Let's make some easy pinto beans. All right, I just got back from the gym and I need to be on a call in 10 minutes. And that is why I want to show you how easy it is to make these pinto beans. So you'll first just chop an onion. It can be a red onion or a yellow onion, either one works great. Then you'll add 1.5 cups of pinto beans. Now, if you are sensitive to pinto beans, you may want to soak these before. And if you soak them like, up to 8 to 12 hours overnight, then they will cook for a shorter amount of time, and I'll explain that in a second. I'm just using dried beans. So that's 1.5. For this next part, it's important to understand that if you soaked your beans beforehand, then you'll just need to add 2 cups broth and 2 cups water. I like to use this veggie broth paste as always. However, since I did not soak my beans beforehand, I need to add 3 cups of broth and 2 cups of water. So I'll go ahead and put that in right now. All right, next is 1.5 teaspoons of smoked paprika. It smells so good. And then 1 teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of cumin. This will help with the digestion. This spice really helps your gut, supports your gut when you're eating beans. That's why you always have cumin with beans. And then 1 teaspoon of oregano. You could also use thyme if you prefer thyme. Either one works. All right, here's the magic. Here's the secret sauce. Quite literally, it is 1 cup of your favorite salsa. I like fresh salsa for this, but it could be any type of salsa. I love this because this fresh salsa has a little more onions, it has tomatoes, it has bell peppers. I'm just gonna take my 1 cup fresh salsa and then we'll add that in. It makes for really yummy pinto beans. And this is just so easy, that's it. Now we turn this on high and cook it for 6 to 8 hours. And that's why I'm doing it in the morning, right after my workout. And then I know I'm good to go later tonight for dinner. And I'll make rice when it gets closer. Put on that lid and we'll set it on high. I'm gonna make it 6 hours. And then I'll probably add more time after 6 hours. Okay, it has been 6.5 hours and these beans look amazing. Oh my goodness. They look awesome.
Yummy.
You may want to taste your beans and add a little bit of salt if you feel like it needs it. And just to garnish with the juice of a lemon really makes it pop. A lemon or a lime even, whatever you have. Okay, so now all we need to do is put it together. I grabbed a little mini tortilla, put a little bit of rice on here. I'm gonna add the beans and then some more of that salsa, fresh salsa. I really like tomatoes, so we're gonna add more tomatoes and cilantro. Here we have our super easy dump and go pinto bean recipe. Super easy, simple, and delicious. If you enjoyed these recipes today, I know you'll absolutely love my other dump and go vegan crock pot videos. Those ones are a huge hit as well, so check them out.